between narrow roads and passes. Assaulting secretively, this was done in between forest areas, between rivers, valleys, or two mountains, between attackers' camp, fortresses, or outposts, making death traps, especially in flat areas. This was done in flat areas, fixing gun or bows with arrows between two bushes or trees. These traps were fixed along attackers' walking distances. Pitfalls, this is also a common tactic used, utilized, of course, forest passes and thick forests were very deep and were covered with various materials. Nobody was recognized what are those pitfalls. Breaking attackers' communication ways with various methods. This also found as a common technique used among all topographies. Weaken the communication between attackers' headquarters and essential parties with the food, medicine, weapons, new plans, and weaken the soldiers. Breaking attackers' regiment by spreading various rumors, etc., various things, and deteriorate the discipline of the soldiers inside the troop, step by step decline the trustworthiness inside the troop, and they weaken all over the troop. Creating pitfalls containing gunpowder, barrels. In the barrels, they created gunpowder and dug out and fill it. This also used as a common method, used in flat lands along the narrow footways of the attacker. And also natural military strongholds were found. These were caves among the mountains were used as hospitals, barracks, and armories of the soldiers of Sri Lankan Kandyan Kingdom. Conclusion. Kingdom of Kandy was the last independent monarchy of Sri Lanka. Kingdom was undergone many invasions and insurrections by European, Portuguese and Dutch, British. Not only these, but also native invasions. Throughout the extension, Kandyan forces used the land to their advantages, engaged in guerrilla warfare against invading forces. Kingdom has owned a well-planned communication system connecting pinnacles of the mountains. Caves among the mountains were utilized as hospitals, barracks, and armories of the soldiers. These are the some references we used. There were a lot of historical references from the Robert Knox and some, especially from the commanders of Dutch and Portuguese. They have reported those stories of Sri Lankan military guerrilla warfare. This is the only photograph we found about the Kandyan guerrilla warfare. It's a picture. Thank you very much.
Please clarify any doubts or ask your questions.
Madam, once again, Major Ajit Verimanna, I would like to point out a fact that the Kandyan kingdom is surrounded by plains. From the Colombo side, it is Hatarakorele, including Mavanella, Kayagalla area. And from the other side, from the approach of Kurunangala, it is the Batkorele, with Galagedara and all that areas. Then from Matale Disava, it is Ukuela and Matale, and from Badulla it is Passara and Badulla Disave. Now, all military officers here will agree with me, in a defensive operation, the brunt is taken by the land which is in front of the defended position. That is, we call advanced position in military terminology, where the brunt is taken, where the main effort of the enemy is, shattered. So this happened in the plains of Satarakorale, Batkorale, Matale Disava, and Passara Badulla. And if you see, there is a very identified force there. Now Muslims have acted as the intermediary between the Kandyan kingdom and the occupied forces. So all these areas, Muslims presence, Islam is, the Sri Lankan Moors present is very prominent. If you take Mavanella, there are Muslims. If you take Galagedara, there are Muslims. Then if you take Matale from Matale side, there is a Muslim presence at Akurana, as well as Badulla. Now every time this English or Portuguese or Dutch attack, it was the first this Jar troops who rebelled among among themselves and destroyed the cohesiveness of the British or the occupant forces. So what is your idea in the role played by these Muslim people when it comes to the guerrilla attack on Kandyan kingdom? I would like you to elaborate a little bit for the understanding of all.
Yes, I think your idea is very good, and I didn't go through much about their contribution to this, so I just went through this hierarchy of order of how this contributed to this guerrilla warfare at the early stages. I didn't pay much attention to make this clear about the Muslims' participations. That's the thing, but I know you are correct that way. I agree with that way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think you have missed out two key books. One is Gaston Pereira's Candy Fights the Portuguese, and the other one is Vikramasekara. I forget the title. The messages are twofold there. Gaston said that we had the fighting spirit. Vikramasekara, who I also know is a young man, was that we had to give in. What is your attitude? Would you take a position, a defeatist position, that given if we didn't have rivalries and so on, whether we could have defeated or whether we could have succumbed?
You mean?
Yeah. Please read those two books. Those are very essential for you. Yeah. But the messages of the two books are very, very different. Gaston Pereira means that we can fight. Vikramasekara says that we cannot fight. Both deal with the Kandyan kingdom.
Could you please excuse about my brother is here. He's fully special about history, and we both compute this article, the abstract. Yes, please come across. He knows a lot about the history. He did the references. The one. That one. Yes.
Okay,
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Can I ask my question? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Actually, thank you very much for your very interesting and eye-opening question. We must understand that our nation was never conquered by any Western powers. We handed over our country by Kandyan Convention. So it shows how effective our guerrilla warfare could have been. I just want to ask this question. I don't know whether you are the correct person or the audience.
I think he's the correct person. I just state about
I just want
the geographical
maybe
piece.
even the chairperson I can ask this question. Have you, in our guerrilla warfare with the LTT, have we ever used these ancient tactics in winning the war? So I wonder whether you heard my question. In this LTT warfare, have we ever used these ancient tactics in winning the war?
You're asking me, I believe.
I said yes, definitely yes.
Well, I didn't do the research, but I'll tell you, times had changed between, for centuries, warfare evolves. And the type of warfare that we were fighting, though it was guerrilla, and times, the weapons, the tactics, all that had changed from the era of the Kandyan Kingdom and the LTT. There were instances where guerrilla warfare was resorted to, but here, when you look at the Kandyan Kingdom, it's more the use of terrain. The mountains, the slopes, the plateaus, and such things that they made the best use of. For example, King Bimal Dharma Surya at Danture. But it's not that a certain amount of guerrilla warfare was not resorted to. It was definitely on both sides, really. But the terrain conditions, weapons, and all the tactics had changed a lot by that time. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? If there aren't any, you'd like to ask a question, Professor?
Hi. Being the only colonist here, one thing that frightens me is the use of zombies by any nation, because we don't know how to kill them. So, do you know how to kill a zombie?
No.
No wonder you beat the LTT. If you were for you using zombies, then no wonder you won. As to your question, Doctor, the tactics, those tactics have been employed in Vietnam, Afghanistan. They were used against me personally in Brunei by the Indonesians.
Thank you, Professor. So, please join me in giving a round of applause to Ms.
Thank you very
Herath.
much.